Hello, visionaries. It's CloudForm again. Today we are going to talk about the Webblen project. Thank you, Zach, for bringing this to us. It's a really amazing project. The concept of it is just awesome. And I hope we will talk today with the core team of the project, and they will give us the vision behind it, the achievements that they've made already, and we'll see and hear from them what we need to expect from this project in the future. Okay, today the moderator of the discussion will be Zach Mead, and I'm giving the floor to him.
All right, thank you very much, Alex. Thank you guys all for being with us today. This is the core Webblen team. And while I'm going to be the moderator, I'm kind of actually going to give the floor to Makai because he is he's the leader of this group, so he knows what's up. He'll lead us in the right direction. And I'm going to jump in with some questions and maybe some prompting questions and discussion points, but it's mostly going to be Makai. And so with that, Makai, why don't you lead us off with kind of introducing yourselves, maybe go around the room, everyone do a little short introduction if you don't mind. And then maybe start off with the story of like, tell us how you guys met, like how you guys met, how long you guys have known each other. And because I think that's kind of an intriguing part of the story is like what you guys have been through together and how you got here today. And so with that, yeah, why don't you just do a quick introduction and then tell us how you met, how you became, how you got together, and then like how you guys thought of Webblen, like how you created this, right? Tell us the story of where Webblen was born. So yeah, Makai, please take it away.
Sure thing. Thank you guys, Zach and Alex. So my name's Makai, co-founder, CEO of Webblen, along with our team, Carter Rizink, co-founder, CTO of Webblen, Nate Thorson, co-founder, CMO of Webblen, and Jack Maring, lead developer of Webblen. And once upon a time, it was around like 2017. There's this group called the Chamber of Commerce here in the Fargo-Moorhead area in North Dakota, USA. They had a program that was called the Young Entrepreneurs Academy. And me being that guy, I was like, hey, why don't I just join this? It's essentially just a program for younger folk to start their own business. Webblen originally was to be a platform that integrates all of your social media into a single spot, along with an event notifier. And it was going to be the de facto social experience. Over time, Nate, remember we were at a lunch table, like this was during high school, at a lunch table, and I had asked you, would you like to join business with me? And obviously his reaction, he can even like talk more about himself here. And that's how we got our first partner here, Nate.
Yeah, so I'll just give a really quick intro. Like he said, Makai and I actually go back to middle school with one another, and so does Jack here. But yeah, Makai and I were super close friends all the way through middle school, high school. And I remember sitting at that lunchroom table, December of 2015, when we were both, 17 at the time, and started a company. Didn't really have any idea what we're doing, but yeah, so far it's chugging along, and it's really cool to see the team has been growing with Carter and Jack and a couple of others joining the team, as well as Zach helping out too. It's been really cool to see the team grow outside of just Makai and myself. And as a quick intro from me, I am, like Makai said, I'm the CMO. I do all of the marketing type stuff of, partnerships, design, website, stuff like that. So it's a lot of fun. Happy to be here.
And then after bringing on Nate and spending some time with what was Webblen, it was originally all social media in one place, an event notifier, and then we really honed in onto specifically an event notifier, because it was not the wisest move to actually just have a company be so dependent on other companies like Facebook, Google, LinkedIn, Twitter. There's a lot of positive feedback with the event notifier. and we had created what was known as a very much glorified event calendar. And we stumbled upon the question, okay, well, I think we know the issue here. What's going to make a person want to go to one of these events? And this was around it was like around 2017 that Bitcoin was having a moment in mainstream media. And we stumbled on a site called Steemit. And what Steemit is, as many of you probably know, is a social economy that is driven off of blog posts, and people who comment on these posts are essentially able to also reap the benefits and be rewarded for being involved along with the creator of the post. We saw this as a huge opportunity to actually incorporate into what we will know Webblen to become today. We are able to create a social economy that actually rewards us for being engaged with what's going on around us. Shortly after this is actually when we brought on Carter. It was this, I don't even remember it was called Impact Fargo, and it was to talk to the high schoolers and soon to be college freshmen in the area as to why stay in Fargo, and to really talk about what Webblen was, what we're doing, and the emerging tech scene and the emerging business scene in the FM area. And after going through my whole spiel on stage, I just threw out into the crowd, by the way, if you're interested in cryptocurrencies, just feel free to chat with me afterwards. And not only did we get two of our initial advisors from that meeting, Carter, you can introduce yourself now, where that's where I initially actually formally met.
Yeah, so that was the first time that we met. It was kind of right in front of that stage. We were just a bunch of people hanging out. Actually, I was into crypto, but I also knew you guys through Smash Bros. I don't know if there's anybody that knows that. We talked a little bit back and forth, but prior to that, I was super interested in crypto. I've been now to this point involved for probably a bit over 5 years. I was really interested. Not just from the investment standpoint. I mean, you can make a bunch of money, which is obviously alluring, but the technology really, really enthralled me. And so I heard the initial Webblen group was kind of doing some stuff in crypto, and from a friend of a friend. And so I kind of I think I literally just walked up to you guys and like, yo, I hear you guys are doing crypto. And we just started talking. And we kept that conversation going, going on four plus years now. Continuing to build out what is now Webblen.
And over time, as we were developing Webblen, it was like through mobile and web. Actually, it was even like so Jack over here, he actually started to get pretty damn good at mobile development and development in general on his end. And we actually had grown up together and gotten to really know, and he started to become more receptive as to what the vision of Webblen is, and had then joined our team and recently went full-time. And Jack, you can talk more about yourself here too.
Yeah, so my name is Jack, recently full-time developer for Webblen. Like I said, I just went full-time. I've known Makai and Nate since middle school. Kind of been working on and off for Webblen for a while, but recently dedicating a lot more time to it. Right now, I am focusing on tokenizing the app, so that creating the infrastructure upon which the Webblen cryptocurrency will be based on. You'll be able to create an Algorand account, get funded with Algo and Webblen and all that good stuff. So hopefully we'll be able to create the cryptocurrency pretty soon for that.
Right on. Sweet. Thank you. All right. That sounds good. Makai, why don't you maybe like transition a little bit into like telling us what Webblen is, like what is it today?
Yeah. So I was about to say, at this point, you may be really curious, what exactly is Webblen? And that's honestly the question that we love answering. So Webblen is a socio-digital economy that pays people like you and me to be engaged in what's happening in our community through local events and media, while improving on the relationship that small local businesses have with their local audience. Are you guys aware? I trust you guys are aware of the triple bottom line when it comes to profit, people, and planet. What's very interesting with the rise of technology within the late 90s, that's where things really started to pick up, is that there's also been a rise of loneliness, depression, social isolation, and anxiety. In the US specifically, 2 out of 3 people regularly report feelings of loneliness and feeling disconnected from one another. Each year in this country, $960 billion plus is spent on social isolation, anxiety, depression, suicide. And this number only multiplies when we actually look at the whole globe. When it comes to efforts to address how people get engaged in their community, over $3 trillion globally is wasted due to a lot of red tape, bureaucracy, and corruption and greed. With Webblen, we are able to create a platform that provides the city and communities across the world the means to address and audit their revenue, their environmental impact, and the social health of the area that they're in.
Right on. That's awesome, man. So that kind of made me think of something that I was listening to you talk about earlier on a different platform. You talked about moral bankruptcy. Like, you talk about all these things that are happening, all these negatives, right? Like, what's causing this? Where is it coming from?
So I can jump in a little bit here too.
Yeah.
So as Makai kind of alluded to, it's the problem that for all of human history, we've all been super dependent on our community around us, about having friendships and connection with other people. And only within the last 20 years or so has that been completely annihilated. You have many of these big platforms like, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, things like that, that promised to connect the world. And while they made it easier than ever to communicate with people across the planet, like we're doing right now, it tore us apart in terms of actually having true connection with those people. And now, 20 years down the line, we are now really starting to see the problems of what social media has become. It is leeching our attention. It is profiting off of our attention. It is making us as addicted as possible. Their business model is basically, how addicted can we get these people? How much can we mess with their brains so we can leech as much money and attention out of them? That is the problem with traditional. Exactly. That is the problem with traditional social media. And as Makai said, we're wasting billions of dollars and hundreds of billions of dollars, and people are literally dying because of what social media is doing us. It's not an overstatement to say that social media is literally killing us, and they're morally bankrupt. So with Webblen, we are a crypto company, but first and foremost, above all of that, we are a mission-oriented company of saying we want to make our communities more connected in a true way. And beyond just showing you what events are happening, like anything can show you that. Any, Eventbrite, meetup, whatever, they can show you events that are happening. But what's going to make it worth you leaving your house, you putting down Instagram and going outside and actually doing something? And a simple way of saying that is money. So we can actually incentivize people being in their community, pay them to do it, and make society better as a whole. And just a cherry on top of that, we can be profitable with the model that we, especially Carter, has created. So long story short, we are first and foremost a mission-oriented company. And I've even told these guys, if we start deviating too much, I quit. And if we start, going the direction that Mark Zuckerberg has of, you know, morally bankruptcy, I'm done. I quit.
All right. So Carter, why don't you take it from there and like talk to us a little bit about what the differentiator is with Webblen? Like, how is it different? What does it fix that Nate's talking about here?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, kind of Nate succinctly put the whole issues with social media companies, big tech companies, the stuff they built, very valuable, but also very dangerous, right? It's very addicting. We're seeing it with, you know, young people especially. It's extremely damaging on the way they look at themselves, the way they look at the world around them. And so basically what our goal is to use monetary incentives to get people to start socializing face to face. Instead of socializing, you know, through the phone screen, right? FaceTime or something. Granted, and that's useful. It's not actually socializing. When you're posting a picture on Instagram, you're not actually trying to use social media to be social. You're using it probably as a you know, a placeholder to interact with humans. And so by using these financial incentives not before afforded to any company prior to this if you will, crypto revolution or you know, blockchain technology allowing this technology to exist, this was impossible. And so now what we're building, what Webblen is trying to do is really trying to pull you away from the big tech companies that are leeching your attention and then paying you with tokenized attention that you can then, by, you know, being involved in your community, maybe not even just being involved by planting trees, even by sponsored by businesses in your area. That's a positive externality on the environment. By any sort of value add to your community that you can think of, we will pay you for it. And we can do that by, you know, incentivizing maybe communities that will pay for it, or businesses that will incentivize their business over other ones. There's a whole incentive structure that's built upon these communities to incentivize being human, and we can use those funds to incentivize the positive externalities instead of the negative ones that we're seeing in today's with the big technology.
Right. So go ahead, Makai.
One of the neat things about what we've done, our notable advisor, and you could almost say coach that we have, that's really helped us with pushing us the direction and getting some intense eyes on what we're doing, is that we've created a platform that allows for a person to receive value doing activities and doing things in the real world that do not extrinsically provide direct value, such as humanitarianism, volunteering, or just being together with whomever. Even we can look at how the current socioeconomic situation is globally and what is the social fabric, especially in the Western world, how it's fallen apart can really be fixed if there was actually a proper way to organize community and to provide value beyond just a job, but our humanity. What Webblen is able to provide a currency attached to what could be seen as human action or human empathy.
Okay, that's cool. So Carter, can you run us through, like, how do I get paid from this? How does like, what does the protocol consist of in like a, you know, a short manner?
Yeah.
And like, who are these people that, like, where's the funding coming from? Where's the money start? And then maybe take it from there.
Yeah, sure. So that's funny. I was expecting this question because every person asks this question: where does the money come from? And it's a valuable question, right? It's a very abstract kind of process by which we do this, but it really comes to these things we call incentive pools. So if there's something that you want to incentivize, say you're a business who wants to incentivize people to come to your business during happy hour to generate more funds, and maybe it's a community-based thing, so where it's outside, you know, you're interacting, you're mixing and mingling and talking to people you wouldn't normally do, increases the socialization. It's a good time for everyone involved. These businesses will create an incentive pool on Webblen that holds Webblen tokens. And based off of the proof of attendance protocol that we're making, that verifies your event attendance, does some cool stuff, verifies how long you've been there and how engaged you are, among other things. We distribute funds from this incentive pool to you. And so now, based off of your level of engagement, if you stay 5 minutes, you're going to get 5 minutes worth of Webblen. But if you stay an hour and a half and you've interacted with a bunch of different people, and you've done these things, we can measure that and we can award you respectively. That's kind of the basis of what Webblen is from a protocol level.
Okay. Go ahead, okay.
On a higher level, you could look at, we like to use the analogy, it's like you start your own country. And the way to earn this country, the way to earn currency in this country is by engaging in the world around you, almost like a video game, which your actions are able to provide value directly to you, the individual participating in the system.
Sure.
Now, any country can have a currency, but how is this country able to generate value beyond itself? How does it interact with other countries, other currencies? So within the app, in order to make a post, to schedule a stream, or to schedule an event, it's going to cost some Webblen. A portion of that Webblen is subsidized into those incentive pools to be distributed to the people who are actually participating, and whether they are watching a stream, commenting on a post, or attending an event. Depending on what you're doing, you're able to get rewarded for that. Now, we also provide additional tools that allow us to generate revenue outside of what Webblen is itself, through whether it be ticketing. We have a marketplace that is specifically focused on the community that you're in. So what's super neat about this platform, that the culture and experience for what it is really depends on the community that it is being used by. And that is how we're able to generate value beyond the token itself.
And I do want to stress that too. I don't think it's clear to anybody who hasn't used Webblen app. The app segments you based off location. So if you go to LA and then you go to like Minneapolis or wherever you're from, they're going to be completely different experiences, and the app's going to look completely different, because the fundamental basis of what we're doing is community. And so community drives the content. So any type of engagement within your community is going to be tiered toward that. You're not going to get the same event in different cities. You're not going to get the same streams. You're not going to get the same feed. It's going to be a completely different experience, and any type of engagement, physical or virtual or anywhere in between, is going to be incentivized and rewarded.
All right. So yeah, so I'm kind of seeing where BitClout and Webblen are kind of along the same path, where your idea, if I'm understanding correctly, is for each city or locality or whatever to have kind of its own Webblen node, to have its own kind of localized Webblen team that takes care of that one, and that's going to give you a local experience. That's all you're going to get, right? And so are you planning on, a couple questions, are you planning on, one, open sourcing the code, so while you can maintain ownership of any proprietary patents and everything like this, proof of attendance protocol, all these other things you guys are inventing, are you going to open source the rest of the code, the front end and all the connections and stuff, and be able to kind of like BitClout, make people, or allow people to create their own local nodes with the same kind of, the same familiar feel as far as like mechanics of how it works goes?
Yeah, no, I think this is probably directed more toward me. Absolutely.
Sure.
I would ask Makai and Nate too. I think they're on the same page. Decentralization and open sourcing as much as possible is 100% on the radar. And we're toward that as we continue to grow as well. So something that we want to do is the Webblen network as a whole. I mean, really the Webblen app interfaces with the Webblen network. People will be able to build their own products and build their own incentive mechanisms on top of Webblen. So if there's an idea that someone has, hey, I wish we could use incentives for my whatever, my game, my idea for combining, I don't know, fantasy football with cryptocurrency, for example. You will be able to make that and then use the Webblen network's user virality to sell this product. Anybody can use it in this experience, because Something that we didn't really touch on is most of our audience has no insight into crypto. It's
Right.
our predominantly our user base is people who just want to find events and then you find value for getting paid to be engaged.
Yep. All right. So let's move on a little bit to like the technology behind this and some recent wins. Maybe you could start with like the cool fact that you guys just got an Algorand Foundation grant. Like that's pretty cool. Let's talk a little bit about that and then like what went into that. Like how did you choose Algorand?
Algorand. There's a site called Growth Mentors, and I got connected with somebody who just happened to be responsible for applications for the Algorand Foundation's grant program. And he really did just take a shot in the dark, like, hey, would you guys be interested in this? And I was looking to Algorand and I'm like, yo, this is some neat stuff. The way that this network is, its speed, its fees. Then discussed it over with Carter. And he had said, this is either going to be the best, the smartest decision we've ever made, or the stupidest decision we've ever made to have our whole ecosystem to be basically derived from Algorand. And story short, grant proposal gets written and bada bing, bada boom, they appreciate, we are well received, and they partner up with us. And when word got out with that, and then there's another partner called Mousebelt that
you guys have been getting a lot of attention from Mousebelt recently.
Yep.
Keep going, please.
That they're part of we're part of their startup school, and probably like their most notable members in this very moment in time that have pushed forward because we have app usage. Our token's almost ready to go. We have partners that are starting to get. We have partners that are super interested in what we have to do, and the intensity of the eyes that are on us, ranging from philanthropic efforts such as Bloomberg Philanthropy, the MasterCard Foundation. Those, just to drop two notable points of interest, to understand that this is a revolutionary technology that that is extremely powerful, extremely dangerous, depending on who gets involved. So we actually have to really focus on, with these wins, to make sure that we stay along our mission and our vision to realize a world that actually pays us for engaging with it.
Right. Yeah. Otherwise, Nathan's gonna quit, and like we're done.
We can't lose Nate.
Oh, lose Nate.
No more marketing.
I think that's interesting though too, because our vision is truly aligned with what Algorand is trying to do, right? We're built with humans in mind, and a big thing with Algorand is decentralizing and democratizing access to the financial future. And what we're
you're preaching to the BitCloud choir here, yeah, man.
100%, yeah, it's the same idea, right? With BitCloud too, right? It's a really revolutionary approach to social media and cryptocurrency at the same time. You can now speculate on people that you believe will be popular in the future. That's really novel and very unique, and something I really like. I've honestly fallen in love with it a little bit.
It's cool, man. Be careful, it's addictive.
For sure, yeah. And in the same sense, we hope that Webblen's addictive, but we also hope that it's addictive to do good shit instead of being on your phone for 4 hours.
Well, right. And that's one of the taglines that I've heard like since I met you guys, which is very fortuitous and just like out of nowhere. One of the taglines that's really stuck with me is like, the point of Webblen is to get people off of Webblen and like out into real life, right? And I'm like, that's it right there, right? Like, hey, we want you to use us, but not for very long. Just, do what you got to do and then go do your thing. So I've always thought that is super cool. And that's like what kind of really, really attracted me to want to work with you guys, right? And it's been a blast so far. Let's get into the weeds a little bit with like investments and stuff. I know you just mentioned something, Makai, that made me think of it, but like your dream team, like if you could have dream investors, what names are at the top of your list, man? What like immediately pops to mind? Like who does your mission align with the best? Who do you see like best fits for Webblen and for the future, you know?
Social Capital and the Center of Humane Technology, along with Bloomberg Philanthropy and MasterCard Foundation. And to be honest, what's very interesting about this project is when it comes to our raise, we are, right now we're in a race in the revenue end of things of getting the first city or community to sign a contract to deploy Wetland. And right now, the forefront of that is Fargo, North Dakota, and Miami, Florida. However, we are still exploring other opportunity and options. And that immediately tells us with this upcoming round that this is very likely to push $10 million seed raise with just a few larger partners. However, we're also looking to close on safe investments from just one or two angel investors to provide immediate liquidity outside of the grant and current revenue, because we do need to have the capacity to deploy one of these contracts, as opposed to a city signs on and says, hey, yes, we want to use Webblen. And though we have the technology there, then we still need to have the proper training for everybody on the team, add people onto the team to straight up disrupt what community is. And with those larger partners, it's very likely that the first city to sign off with Webblen to be integrated is very likely to make international news, because it'll be the first place ever in which you're able to get paid for engaging in the environment.
Right. That's awesome, dude. That's super cool. So go ahead.
I think too is we're very mission oriented. So I think it's a pretty well established theme across the board on our team. Is if you're not on board with what we're trying to do with human centered technology, we're just gonna pass. Like we have the ability to do that now, which is kind of weird to say.
Right. No, that's an awesome position to be in. Go ahead, please.
Oh, which is why people like Social Capital and the Center for Humane Technology, that's why those two types of groups are so integral. And I should also say that one of the reasons why at least I was attracted to Algorand was the fact that they're carbon negative too. So, I mean, as all of us know, it is a problem with crypto is how energy inefficient it is. And we all have opinions on that. But knowing that Algorand is only making the environment a better place makes it feel good to not only be building on them, but also have that financial support and that partnership with them. It feels very good. And that is one of the reasons why I, at least, was so adamant about saying, yeah, let's go for Algorand. Right
on. So maybe Makai, maybe you could talk about some 3 to 6 month goals. Like where does Webblen want to be by the end of the year? Where do you want to be at this time next year?
By the end of the year, we aim to have a city that signed off on a contract to actually deploy Webblen as the foundation of how they run their community and audit their revenue, their social life impact, and environmental impact. When it comes to the product itself, like in regards to environmentalism, we really want you to be able to click on a city and immediately be able to see its population, its revenue, carbon emissions, how much electricity it's using, how much solar energy it's using, to make it more transparent to everybody in the community, the health of where you are currently at. And just having that information be so clear and in your face, and you're able to look at the health of other cities and communities.
Right.
Around then, we want to really be able to start to drive this kind of behavior and exemplify what cryptocurrencies and blockchain is actually promising us. When we're looking 6 months into the future, things start to get tough to actually gauge because of just how disruptive this platform is, and the potential. Sure, when one city says yes, many will look at that city and say, why would anyone want to live where we're living if we don't have a system like that? And then, like, for example, how different cities are trying to pay remote workers to stay there, and yet remote workers continue to leave. It's that example right there. It's because the community does not provide enough to the individual. How do you do that? How do you incentivize that? And a year from now,
there's so much going on now. It's so hard to
just because of how exponential everything
Right,
is.
right.
Like we're even just starting to generate revenue through like our ticketing, our tokens almost ready to go. So it's really hard to gauge, and it really depends on the people that do get involved on the ground floor, what the future looks like.
Yeah, it's a really good point. Maybe someone wants to run us through the website really quick. Daniel, do you want to do that real quick? Do you want to share your screen and run us through the Webblen website so people have a better idea of what's going on? Let me make sure you can share.
Now I'm just praying that nothing on the website is broken.
I can't make you co-host, but I think you can share. Do you see the big green thing at the bottom?
Oh yes, I can.
Yeah. Click on that. Go to the Webblen homepage and just run us through it really quick, please.
Host has disabled participant screen sharing.
Hey, Alex, can you enable screen sharing, please? I can screen share. Maybe I can do it and you can narrate.
Sure. Yeah.
Is it possible to also screen share like what's going, like the mobile app?
Nathaniel, you can do screen sharing.
I can now?
Yes.
There we go.
Okay, go ahead, guys. Cool. Yeah, and then show the mobile app too. If someone wants to do that, that'd be awesome. Yeah, because this isn't just an idea. You guys have been working on this for what, 6 years now? This is the real deal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's all happening.
One of the biggest goals with Webblen is if you go onto the website, you will not see just about anything related to crypto. And that was very much on purpose. As Carter and a couple of other people have mentioned, is we are a mission first company and a cryptocurrency second. And one of the things that made us so alluring to people like Algren and people like Mousebelt is with 95 or 99% of other crypto platforms is it requires a certain amount of knowledge in order to be involved, whether that's your passphrase, your private keys, public keys, hash rates, gas fees, all of that type of stuff. Whereas we take all of that out. So if you use the app, unless you look for it, you will not know that it is a cryptocurrency blockchain driven app. You will only see that it's an app that you show up, you get paid to go, and that you can transfer into buying something in the shop or to Venmo. So our website reflects that too. Of what we want to show you is that you show up to an event, you get paid, and that's it. And so that is why our branding is so focused on traditional app development. But one really cool part about it is this loyalty program type thing. This was something that was mentioned to us a couple weeks ago. We were talking to a marketing professional and he was basically saying, oh, this sounds like a loyalty program, to where you earn Webblen, WBLN, our token, and then you're able to spend it in your shop, basically creating a digital socio-economy that is at the hyper local level of saying, if I go down the street, and I live downtown here, if I go down the street and I go to an event at Block 9, a little square just across the street, I earn some Webblen, then I'm able to go to Blackbird Pizza, spend that Webblen in the same city and in the same way. And just like that, you've put more money into the local economy, which is another one of our goals. Outside of that, it is a very traditional, events platform. People are able to sell tickets for cheaper than anywhere else. And it's a lot of cool stuff. And because it's hyper localized, it gives small businesses a extremely direct way of getting involved and connecting with local customers rather than competing with, brands like Coke and Chevron and everyone else. Another cool feature, again, this is just kind of walking you through the features a little bit, is because of the ingenuity of our fearless leader, Makai Salekwa, people are able to stream through Webblen to their local communities and also do it on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook, which is kind of cool.
Cool. Yeah.
Other than that, yeah, I mean, there's quite a bit of stuff showing about what this does for local businesses. Sorry, the Zoom call is kind of taking up some of my bandwidth. What it does for local businesses, being able to connect with people, stuff like that. And of course, if you want to get into the crypto side of it, you want to learn about it, we do all have the blog, which explains our, for example, our DAO, how we're solving one of crypto's biggest problems, as well as just kind of the straight, you know, blog type stuff. So there's kind of a little rundown.
Throughout the whole website too, you'll notice, and we talked about this, we've all kind of alluded to it, the website should not be crypto complex when it comes to crypto and whatnot. Something I've noticed with a lot of huge innovations in the space is exactly the barrier of knowledge is massive, and a lot of the projects are directed towards other crypto people. What we're doing is unique. We're not targeting the crypto people, we're targeting average people, which tends to be a significantly larger market, significantly, like multi-billion-dollar amount of people, right? It's everyone isn't crypto, which is most people.
Right. Nate, could you say I was an investor? Where could I find information about Webblen?
Yeah, you would just go right down here. You click on the little investors tab, and right here we have our pitch deck and our white paper. Pitch deck, like any pitch deck, high level, shows how we make our money, things like that. White paper gets a little bit more into the technical side. So it's just webblen.io/investors, and anybody is able to check it out. It's just in the footer down here.
Cool, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Alex, have you had any questions from Twitch or YouTube or anything? I think we have about 15 minutes left. I mean, I'd like to just open it up for like free discussion and like maybe say what are some other recent wins after the Algorand Foundation? Like what else are you guys looking at? Who's looking at you? Because I know we've had some interest from some investors on BitCloud about pre-sale, opening up the Webblen token. We still have to sort all that stuff out, but we'll have a better idea in a couple of days. But there has been some good interest there, so that's promising. But what else have you guys been hearing? Who else is kind of looking at you?
The advisors that have been recommended our way were, like, example, I'm not gonna disclose his full name, but his first name, you can do your own research. First name Harry, who was actually on like Obama's administration and has a vested interest in the socioeconomic health of just different communities.
Right. Yeah, you don't have to get specific with names or companies or anything, but like what kind of interest have you been seeing?
It is primarily like, for example, in Africa and especially countries that have systems in which a lot of communities have been, there's been a thumb on their growth due to bureaucracy and corrupt poor government or poor structure when it comes to how a community is organized, that we are able to provide a way that immediately empowers an individual and community itself to generate its own wealth and sustainable system, economically speaking and socially speaking. Then there's, when it comes to the product itself, I can even like, I did hook it up here, how we've been mostly experiencing organic growth. Oh, can you see? Can you see this?
We can now, yep, go ahead.
Mostly experiencing like organic growth, and like here's a visual to those who are really curious what this app looks like.
Sure.
And it's supposed to be super clean, super intuitive, no more than 2 clicks. If there's an event happening right now, you could check into it. Your wallet, which actually provides like your USD balance. If you are selling tickets in the near future, when we're capable of doing so as well, to provide liquidity with your Webblen that you've earned. And additional features coming soon. So this includes the shop, being able to, right now with your Webblen, you're able to create a post, stream, event, a flash event, meaning like you're just somewhere and you want to create an event within like
cool.
the next 30 seconds. So
Right.
like minimalist type of event.
That would be cool if you're like down at the square, like just like I don't know, that'd be super cool if you just had like some weird little pop-up thing where you're like, I got 5 pair of tennis shoes, they're $5,000 a piece or whatever, right? Like if some kind of crazy drop happened and you wanted like a flash sale, right? Or just any kind of crazy thing like that.
Like that, where we would drop QR codes in a bunch of different cities, and if you scanned it on the app with like our NFT function that's coming out soon, you'll get like 20,000 Webblen or some shit like crazy.
Oh shit, yeah, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
Talk more about that.
Literally.
Talk more a little bit about the NFT functionality. What are you thinking there?
Yeah. So from a technical standpoint, everything you can buy in our shop is an NFT, just because it's super easy to use NFTs for this kind of function. You can represent art with NFT. You can also represent a coupon for a free pizza that you can buy with Webblen. You can also buy with US dollars and subsidize part of that with your Webblen balance. You don't actually have to have $20.
Kind of like a credit card reward type, like credit card cashback, that type of thing.
Yeah,
what kind of file storage are you using for that?
With the NFTs.
Yep.
Yes, we use the the industry standard with Ethereum. I forget the acronym. I can
IPFS probably.
IFPS. I knew that wasn't right.
Cool.
We use that for some of it. Some of it's also you housed within the front end. So Webblen, the app, Algorand. But fun thing is, as we start to expand, we're gonna have cross-chain support for NFTs. So now something like an Ethereum NFT or a BitClout NFT or an Algorand or a Webblen Network NFT, all these NFTs can be in the app. And we're actually talking with I can't say the name, but tomorrow we're actually having a really fun conversation with another Algorand partner and potential partner down the road who has their own NFTs. And I feel like this platform, they would use the platform extremely effectively for what they're doing. So something like BitClout can also function as that way, where you can have like BitClout NFTs housed on Webblen and trade. You can do basically whatever you would want with these NFTs at the
right. That's cool, man.
Yeah.
How you got any? Go ahead, Alex.
Yeah, I have a few questions, and first of all, I would like to say that the concept that we have with cities, it seems to me quite amazing, because as far as I understand it, it can become a part of a smart city concept for the city when your app is taking the social interaction function. So, if you are going to implement it in the level of city governance, are you going to organize in the app some sort of voting system, so people and citizens of the city can vote for some decisions that can be made on the level of the city? So it's like, what do you want to put our money to build more trees or to build more grass or something like this?
You've exactly touched on something that one of our advisors had even mentioned, how the first step that we have these things called community editors. And when you sign off a contract with Webblen for your city, your community, we have, depending on your population size, a given amount of community editors whom are responsible for interacting, being the intermediary between local businesses, just generally members of the community, as well as decision makers, real estate developers within that area, to provide as much transparency as we can for how decisions are made. Community editors are responsible for helping getting streamed video of town hall meetings, city hall meetings, however decisions are being made. Whenever there's a certain goal that is set for the city, we want to, over time, be able to associate different actions or events that fulfill this goal. So let's say you do click on your city and you're seeing this information, and you could see like, what's the top 3 goals of this city currently, and where are efforts being focused. And then if somebody were to make an event or to schedule a stream, there could be a way to connect. How does this provide value or add to the goal of the community? But that's a little bit further down the line. We do have a lot of systems
Sure.
in place set up to really make this the encompassing platform for being able to see the revenue, environmental impact, social impact in action, and being able to adjust accordingly to fulfill different goals of a community.
And I do
Yeah.
want to hit that too, because the main mission with these cities is the transparency. So like anybody should be able to see, what is my city's triple bottom line? What is my impact of my city? That's huge. And kind of like what you were getting at, if a city decides to use such a platform like Webblen, and make their city a truly smart city, it would be a trivial tech addition to decentralized governance as well. You know, maybe that is something that these community editors want to do for the governments of these cities. You could do that. You could implement a voting mechanic for every citizen, and essentially decentralize the city. And at that point, if the trend continues, you would be able to pick your best city, really. Vote with your feet and pick the most transparent and decentralized and valuable city that you want to live in.
Yeah, I can totally see that. People basing their location off of these kind of metrics. So yeah, please go ahead, Alex.
Yeah, thank you so much for explaining this in this deeper manner. Yeah, I have this solution has great potential, and I do have some experience in smart cities, and I was involved in the development of project called Active Citizen, which is a voting system for the Moscow government and so on and so forth. So after the stream, I may share with you some ideas that can bring additional value to your project.
Yeah,
yeah, my next question is about user experience, because it's very important to let people know what's the script of for the user. When he just opened the app, he taps on the register button, he registered, and then should he add some money to his account so he can start doing posts, events, streams, or if he doesn't want to invest money in his account, he can earn some Webblens from interacting with others, and this will be the starting point. So my question is about user experience. How does it look? How does it look like for the user step by step in the initial stage?
I can actually see if I can pull something up like this really quick. If I can't, I don't know if I can do it quickly enough.
It's okay.
you
We
can.
have time.
You're asking about the onboarding, and that is a very, we spent a lot of time on this, so I'm actually excited to show you.
Great.
To answer your question,
While you are doing this, I will have another question, so you
sure.
can, no pressure, man, so take your time. So I will ask another question about city's idea. So what I've heard today from you guys is like you can do some sort of tip system as well, as far as I understand from the Webblen. So like if you have a guy who is cleaning the street just close to your home every day, so you can tip him using the Webblen if he is on the Webblen. I mean, is it possible or no? Because sometimes they are underpaid, and maybe, and you love this guy, and you have some chats maybe in the mornings, and so on and so forth. So is there possibility for that, space for that?
Yeah. Jack and I have actually talked about this quite in depth. The whole idea of micropayments, so payments for, it can be ranging from splitting food with your friends. Normally I use Venmo or Cash App. Some people might be familiar with that. But if it's an all-in-one social experience, a cohesive kind of social experience within the app, yeah, absolutely. Tipping certain people that you deserve or you think deserve a little bit of a boost, paying people that you want to split cost with. The whole system would enable the tipping for sure. And in that sense, you can almost tip some of your assets or some of your money toward things you believe in. So if you believe in paying more people, these city workers more, you can do that. You can vote for that, and you can direct your assets toward that. And maybe eventually too, with that city governance, you could vote on where your taxes go. That would be very easy and very valuable, because now the city knows where you want your money to go, and that's kind of how they retain you.
We
Yeah,
also do
great.
live streams. So like Twitch, you can tip someone on Twitch. It'll be basically the same thing on Webblen if you watch a local live stream as well.
You can do that now.
Cool. Very cool, guys. And
Did get the
the
onboarding.
very just finishing this point, and we'll move to onboarding. So the funny question, and maybe a little bit provocative. So when you can give some tips to guys from the government, like cleaning stuff, yeah, and maybe some officials, don't you see that there is a possibility for corruption using Weblen?
We do like to say this. Hold, before I even share this, it's very important to keep in mind how we are creating a technology that primarily empowers not only communities but individuals as well. If there's corruption in an area, you're easily able to see the health of other communities. And if you're interested in retaining people in your community, corruption is not the wisest way to do it. What Webblen is, it is our responsibility to focus on the user experience and the technology. How this platform is used is going to be different from city to city and community to community. And people and communities and people that use this platform in the most valuable way possible, or in a way that provides the most value to the area that they're in, will attract the most people.
And you want to touch on two valuable points too. The first one is, because it's blockchain, everything's transparent, or at least maximally transparent compared to the construction system. So if someone's doing, corruption, it's pretty easy to spot. I mean, if anything, we would make a whole field day out of corruption from people trying to use our app for that. I think that we're all in line to saying that would be something we would take pleasure in. And the second thing too is for the same reason why you can't take down the Bitcoin networks or the Ethereum network or BitClout network, assuming all of these are decentralized. You can't take down the Webblen network either. So if you were to deposit funds into somebody's account for being involved in their community, and now this person had assets, some Webblen in their account, you couldn't just take it. I mean, you'd have to access their private keys, and as far as I could tell, corruption normally happens on the higher level, where they're taking funds as they come in, not stealing it from the citizens. And generally, it would be really hard, if not impossible, to do such a thing.
Yep, absolutely agree. I asked this question because this notion can come across to someone's mind, and it's better to address it now. So
for sure,
that's what was my point, and I absolutely agree. You have a transparency because you have a blockchain technology behind the project, and that's why it's safe and can be tracked if needed. Yeah. Okay, let's go to the onboarding question.
All right. Let me know when you
Alex,
see
we're here. Oh, Alex, we're here as long as you need us. So it's up to you. Keep going. Right. Go ahead, Makai.
Yeah. If you have some restrictions on your time, we can call it an end.
No, I think we're good. No, I think we're good as long as you're good.
I think after this, we can wrap it up.
Sure. Yeah. Go ahead, Makai. After this, yep. Go ahead.
So over here, when you first download Webblen, we really do focus on, we got to get the value proposition to the end user immediately in as few clicks possible. how they are using the platform is going to vary from person to person. So let's try to build an encompassing experience that is simple enough, straightforward enough, and engaging enough to make you feel connected with the app and immediately feel excited to get engaged in your community, right? And you have your typical things such as asking for your email address and keeping you in the loop for notifications, and sharing your location to allow you to take part in what's happening in your area. And when it grabs your location, it tells you the culture of your area is in your hands and how would you like to be involved. There's 3 different routes that you can take, whether it be to host live or virtual events, live streaming video specifically, or to explore events, streams, and communities. And to keep it straightforward, let's say if I'm interested in hosting an event or live events, then tells you that we offer the best tools and resources to make your event a success. If you're interested in monetizing your events, and this includes selling tickets, taking donations, 2 examples, yes, you would then be asked like the classic KYC questions and to set up an earnings account. So you're able to essentially receive instant deposits as well as be able to sell different goods and services on our platform. And this process is very similar to streams as well. And when it comes to if you're just interested in events, communities and streams in the area, then it'll just ask you, what are you interested in? You can select from these. It's going to take a query of like different people who are nearby in your area that the app will suggest that you do follow to immediately get engaged. It's a choice whether you do or not, obviously. And then immediately you are rewarded Webblen to get you started. And you can earn, it lets you know that you can use it to be, Webblen can be traded for merch, gift cards, cash prizes in our shop. Can be traded in the very near future on other exchanges with your Webblen wallet. And immediately you have Webblen in order to do what you will with the community. As you could say, it's like a little stimulus to keep things going, because we do subsidize a portion of the Webblen that is used if I were to actually post an event or a stream or anything that I do in the community that I get something out of, then it's going to cost me some Webblen in order to actually make this economy go. And in a nutshell, that is what the onboarding experience is.
I think it's also worth noting, though, that we are in the works of reworking the onboarding.
I mean, yeah, and we're always improving.
Always
That's the way it works. We iterate and iterate. We're always improving.
But
Yeah.
I think too is gamification. So a big focus on what we're doing in the user experience is gamifying. So like when you saw the numbers come up and it says like going from 0 to 5 Webblen, you actually get haptic feedback and the thing vibrates. So like there's little tricks to make you feel really good about being engaged in your community is kind of something we like to focus on.
We really want to try to make life almost similar to a video game out here, in which you're able to really be able to monetize your actions and spend what you do. Like doing more good in the world allows you to exchange it for goods and services. So yeah.
Yeah, it sounds awesome, guys. Thank you so much for being today with us and sharing this project to the community. I'm sure that a lot of guys will see it on YouTube just within some time, and within this time, it will grow. The awareness will grow, I mean. And I'm pretty sure that it was very useful for both sides, for investors who can look at the video, watch the video, and for your potential users. I'm pretty sure for that.
Oh, yes.
So do you have any final words, messages to audience?
Maybe plug
Go ahead, Carter.
was just gonna say maybe we can plug some socials. You can find where we're at and check us out.
Yeah,
man.
yeah, you guys go for it. Yeah, post in the chat. Give shout outs. Go for it right now. How can we find you, Carter?
Follow us. You'll follow our accounts. That's one of the easiest ways to contact us. Otherwise, on LinkedIn, BitClout, my personal BitClout, Kai the intern, and then be sure
Oh,
to
you're Kai the intern.
I'm just
Sneaking in on me. Hi.
And really be sure to check out to follow. We will going to become a lot more active on YouTube as well as BitClout within the next upcoming weeks here when we open up on some of our bandwidth and move on some rules. Yep.
Yeah, I love your YouTube videos, man. Your videos and I don't know if you podcast, but you're funny as heck, and your production is awesome. It's super cool. I posted them all on BitClout, so they're there.
That's dope.
Yeah, man.
Webblen
Yeah, guys.
guy.
One more idea for you. You can rename your accounts now. I mean, here in chat, and put your BitClout names. So.
Oh, okay.
It'll be safe to read it.
I gotta find my BitClout at. It might take a second. I put my Twitter at, which was the same as my BitClout at.
Yeah. So Alex, these guys are really new to BitClout, so they're learning too. But I think there's a lot of potential overlap, right? There's a lot of potential like cross-pollination of ideas and like use cases, right? Because this is just the beginning for both of them, for BitClout and for Webland.
Agreed.
So who knows? Yeah. Follow Kai the intern. That's funny.
See if I can actually spell it correctly.
Yeah, it's okay. No worries.
Oh.
Yeah, Zach. So we will. Okay, I will tell it after the stream.
Oh, okay. Oh, you didn't even tell me you opened your coin up.
Me?
It's all good. Yeah, I would have bought some of you right away. It's all good.
I only like recently
I still will.
opened it up. Like I had I'm very much a noob when it comes to this, and when it comes to social media in general, I'm only getting back into the groove of things. So to add BitClout into the mix.
Yeah. No, it's awesome, dude. It's good to see you on here.
Okay. So we will call it a date for now. Do you have any messages to audience?
I'd just like to thank everyone for watching. Thank everyone for attending. Alex, thank you, and Mark for hosting us. It's been an awesome time. Yeah, we really appreciate your interest and time. So thank you.
Thank you guys for coming. It was a real joy to talk to you and hear from you.
Thank you very much, Alex. Appreciate it.
We'll have to
Thank
get
you, guys.
See ya.
Don't go anywhere for now. I'm shutting down the stream and we can